Around 2.4 million years ago, Earth's climate underwent dramatic changes. The dense forests of East Africa began to recede, gradually replaced by vast savanna grasslands. This environmental shift forced primate-like species to adapt or face extinction. In this context, Homo habilis emerged. Its name literally means the handyman. Key characteristics of Homo habilis: larger brains than earlier ancestors, averaging 600 to 700 cubic centimeters, about 1.5 times larger than Australopithecus. Fully upright posture which completely freed the hands. Most importantly, they knew how to make simple stone tools, an unprecedented leap in human history. The earliest stone tools were basic, pebbles fractured to create sharp edges. Used for cutting meat, cracking bones to access marrow, or peeling roots and fruits. Later, they learned to chip both sides, creating hand axes and crude knives. These tools transformed their way of life, allowed them to scavenge meat from carcasses left by predators, gaining access to high-calorie nutrition. It enabled them to defend themselves more effectively. It laid the foundation for food processing, which improved digestion and fueled brain growth. This technological milestone set the stage for the first true human communities to emerge. Before tools, early hominins typically lived alone or in mother-offspring pairs similar to modern chimpanzees. However, with tools came more efficient hunting, which also triggered conflict among individuals. Cooperative hunting. Taking down large prey like antelopes, wild boars, or deer required multiple individuals working together. Defense against predators. Lions, leopards, hyenas, and wild dogs were constant threats. A lone individual was vulnerable, but a coordinated group could drive away predators. Food sharing. Meat from a large kill exceeded one individual's needs, so sharing reduced waste and strengthened social bonds. Gradually, small groups of around 10 to 30 individuals emerged. This marked the first primitive form of human community. Within these groups, one dominant and aggressive male naturally assumed leadership, decided when to hunt or migrate, held exclusive mating rights during breeding periods, and led the defense of the group against predators and rivals. Subordinate males had to submit or leave. Females primarily cared for offspring, gathered roots and fruits, and helped hunt small animals. This structure resembled primate troops today, but with greater flexibility, as intelligence and tool-making skills began to rival brute strength. Reproduction during the Homo habilis era remained largely instinctual, yet the first signs of selective mating and long-term survival strategies began to emerge. Primitive human females had long gestation periods, about 9 months, just like today. This created 3 major challenges. Number 1, low birth rate. A surviving child might only be born every 3 to 5 years. Number 2, prolonged dependency. A child needed 4 to 6 years of care before becoming self-sufficient. Number 3, vulnerability during pregnancy. Pregnant and nursing females were less mobile and less able to defend themselves. These factors forced the entire group to cooperate in protecting mothers and children. Males focused on hunting to provide food for everyone. Non-pregnant females often acted as caregivers, forming the earliest roles similar to babysitters. The entire group united to defend offspring from predators or rival groups. This was a crucial turning point. The survival of children required group cohesion, strengthening the foundations of human social life. Initially, mating was random and purely instinctual. Over time, however, females began to choose mates based on 2 critical factors. Number 1, strength and protection. Strong males could protect mothers and children from predators and competitors. Their genetic traits were more likely to be passed on, driving the evolution of physical strength. Number 2, hunting skill and resource sharing. Some males, though less muscular, excelled at crafting tools and organizing hunts. These skills were attractive because they ensured a stable food supply, leading to higher survival weights for mothers and children. This marked the earliest stage of social selection, where intelligence began to matter as much as physical power. The drive to reproduce sparked violent conflicts between males. Two dominant males might fight to the death for access to females. Subordinate males sometimes mated secretly, causing tension and instability. Consequences: groups could fragment, leaving members vulnerable. Infant mortality increased as protection for the young weakened. To reduce chaos, unspoken rules around mating emerged. The alpha male retained primary mating rights, but allowed subordinate males limited access to females. Some groups adopted temporary pair bonds, where a male would stay with one female during pregnancy and early childcare before moving on. These early systems laid the groundwork for primitive marriage concepts and later social norms. At this stage, cooperation became essential for survival, leading to the first hints of social organization. Groups learned to herd prey toward traps or cliffs. Some members would create noise and confusion, while others ambushed from strategic positions. Dividing roles increased hunting success and reduced injury risk. This required advanced communication, including gestures, vocal signals, and even symbolic sounds, the earliest precursors of language. Males primarily hunted and defended territory. Females focused on gathering plant foods, insects, and small animals, while caring for children. Elders, though no longer hunting, they passed down knowledge, such as hunting grounds, weather patterns, and tool-making techniques. This early division of labor increased group efficiency and laid the foundation for more complex social hierarchies. Homo habilis brains expanded rapidly due to two key factors: a protein-rich diet from meat and bone marrow, and social pressure requiring strategy, problem-solving, and communication. As a result, memory and learning abilities dramatically improved. The ability to understand cause and effect developed, such as knowing that throwing a stone could injure prey. This intellectual growth reshaped group dynamics. Smart individuals could rise as leaders even without the greatest physical strength. Planning became possible, storing food, choosing safe shelter locations, and preparing for seasonal changes. These developments paved the way for Homo erectus and the mastery of fire. By the later stages of Homo habilis, cultural expressions began to emerge. Animal bones were sometimes arranged deliberately, hinting at simple rituals. Some caves contained traces of colored stones, possibly used for body decoration or to indicate social roles. The dead were occasionally covered with leaves or stones, showing a primitive awareness of death. These behaviors indicate that humans were beginning to think beyond immediate survival, laying the groundwork for future spirituality and religion. Reproduction evolved from an individual instinct into a collective strategy for survival. Larger populations meant stronger hunting parties and better defense. Protecting women and children became a top priority, as they represented the group's future. Some groups held fertility rituals, drawing symbols on rocks or performing dances to ensure successful births. A proto-concept of lineage emerged. Children were viewed not just as offspring of parents, but as assets of the entire group. The death of a child was felt as a collective tragedy, not merely a personal loss. Around 800,000 years ago, Homo habilis gradually disappeared, replaced by Homo erectus, a stronger, more advanced species that mastered fire. Yet the legacy of Homo habilis was monumental. 1. Primitive communities that became the blueprint for future societies. 2. Selective mating practices which curbed inbreeding and reduced violent conflicts. 3. Collective childcare strategies ensuring the survival of fragile human offspring. 4. Cultural seeds, early rituals, symbols, and beliefs that distinguished humans from animals.
Thanks to these achievements, humans were prepared for the next great revolution: fire, language, and cultural explosion. Part 2 marks the transition from instinct-driven individuals to socially organized groups. During this time, humanity learned to cooperate, making group survival possible. Regulated sexual behavior, stabilizing communities, and improving genetic diversity. Expanded intelligence, setting the stage for culture and technology. This era was the critical bridge in human evolution, laying the groundwork for marriage, family, and complex societies that continue to shape our world today. From small bands of a few dozen individuals, our ancestors began writing the first chapters of the human story, a tale of connection, survival, and the unyielding desire to preserve life for generations to come.